Jack Thunder and the Fragments of Anima. Book 5. Fire. Chapter 2. Air Surfing. Through the empty skies of Alterus, a single storm gremlin in a mango-orange jumpsuit surfed atop a billowing cloud. Winter was not Terry's season. Anyone could guess by his sunburned face and the scarlet emblem of a rolling wave and burning sun on his chest that Terry Paradise was all about summer. But the way he saw it, any season was ripe for cloud surfing. And on a day like today, when there were no other clouds in the sky, he didn't have to worry about running into anyone else as he tore his way through the air. Not only that, his view of the ground was as clear as a still pond. If he weren't so busy looking at the ground, he would have noticed the column of thick black smog he was headed straight towards before he ran into it. Terry coughed and spluttered, forcing his way out of the other side of the smoke cloud. Ugh, what was that? He turned around. The cloud must have stretched all the way to outer space, Terry thought. He turned his gaze downward towards the earth. Below him he could see a vast jungle surrounded by mountains. He was near the east coast of the continent Kirkea, not far from the jungle of the Wise Serpent. Spiraling down the smog column on his surfing cloud, Terry discovered the source of the smoke. It was coming from the top of Mount Inferno. The storm gremlin gulped. He had heard many unpleasant stories about Mount Inferno, but he hadn't heard any that mentioned smoke coming out the top. There was something off about this smoke, too. Just by looking at it, he began getting unpleasant flashbacks. Flashbacks to a few months ago, when Jack Thunder had found him deep inside Mount Tempest and expelled that wendigo from his body. He was getting that same feeling once again. He put his hand up to his head, suddenly a bit dizzy and weak. Terry flew his cloud away from the smoke, and the feeling subsided. That's when he noticed something else on the ground. A wooden trailer was parked not far from the base of Mount Inferno. And though he was very high up, he thought he could see two fox people near it on the ground. The taller one was red with 3 tails, and the shorter was white with 2 tails. Who could they be? From the looks of it, they were concerned about the smoke coming from Mount Inferno too. In any case, the smoke was reason enough to get back to Tempest Island and tell Jack Thunder. The day the younger storm gremlin saved Terry, the sunny storm gremlin had promised to help in any way he could. Now, it seemed, he was getting that chance. Okay, home. Which way is home? All of a sudden, he remembered. He was heading west. So he had to go east. Which direction was east? Towards the sea facing Mount Inferno. Quickly finding it, Terry split the skies open, surfing as fast as he could towards the ocean. Hopefully, Tempest Island wasn't too far off. Shadow-Paws looked down at his feet and sighed. I don't get it. Things had been pretty quiet ever since the winter solstice. When he and the others saved Yggdrasil in her grove, the elder goat had given him a pair of boots that gifted him with extra speed and agility. He said that these were supposed to help with the Nekomata's courage problem, but Shadow-Paws didn't see how. He looked over to the others. They seemed to be having fun with their gifts. The winter solstice may have passed, but winter was still in full swing on Tempest Island. The grassy lowlands of the island were blanketed in white snow. The storm clouds shed snowflakes instead of raindrops, and Jack Thunder was sliding down the slopes with Buckthorn and Snodder in tow. You just wait. I'll beat you down there one of these days. How about another ride? Shadow-Paws was too lost in his own thoughts to pay much mind. Though he had gotten used to the rumbling thunder on Tempest Island, he was still racked with anxiety. Having 2 big adventures in the span of a few months could do that to anyone, he thought. And there were still 2 fragments left. Would he make it through? Would any of them? Shadow-Paws stood up. He decided to take a walk around the island. That would clear his mind. It was a small island, so he wasn't worried about getting lost. He just had to avoid falling off the edge and he would be fine. He made his way to the edge of the island and circled around, still lost in thought. His train of thought abruptly derailed, however, when a certain storm gremlin clad in orange and yellow flew straight into him. Terry landed on top of the Nekomata. He quickly stood up and dusted himself off. "Oh, sorry about that," Shadow-Paws grumbled. "Thanks a lot for nearly knocking me off the island. What's up with you?" Terry's antennae lay flat against his head. "I'm sorry, but I was in a real hurry. Where's Jack?" Wait, back up. What's going on here?" "It's Mount Inferno!" Shadow-Paws snapped right to attention. Mount Inferno was in trouble? This was bad on so many levels. "It had smoke coming from the top and I think it might have been null magic." "What's this about null magic?" Shadow-Paws whirled around to see Jack Thunder and San running up from behind him. "Oh good, you're both here," Terry sighed in relief. "What's going on with Mount Inferno, Terry?" Jack Thunder asked. Terry took a deep breath. "There's nasty smoke coming from Mount Inferno. I started feeling real sick when I flew through it. You know, kinda like when you got the flu. It was kind of like that." The mere idea that the wendigos were around Mount Inferno was enough to drain all the color from San's face. But he knew better than to assume. "Are you sure it was null magic? I'm sure anyone would get sick flying through a smoke cloud." "Yes, I'm sure," Terry almost snapped. He took a few moments to recompose himself before continuing. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to snap like that. It's just, if Mount Inferno is in trouble..." San understood what he meant. Even before the war, San did well to stay away from Mount Inferno. There was no reason for him nor any of the other champions to risk their lives facing down Alterus's worst villains. And if those villains had access to null magic... San turned around, motioning for Jack Thunder, Terry, and Shadow-Paws to climb on his back. Spreading his wings, the Tengu took flight, relentlessly searching the ground for buckthorn and snotter. There was no time to lose.